Nier Automata, which is a game about, a female superhero or female hero character or whatever you want to call it. I think that game resonated a lot with the gaming community. I'm still in my playthrough. I'm in the middle of many playthroughs. And I can say a game like Stellar Blade, when that game was probably first revealed, it was more than likely the game that came to a lot of people's minds to draw some kind of a parallel to. What I've been talking about with this particular game is the game has not yet and did not meet its full potential after the game initially announced that it was going to be available on Xbox and PlayStation as Project Eve back then, and then decided that they were going to go with PlayStation for an exclusivity deal. Just recently, I saw this article that was written here on Insider Gaming talking about Shift Ups and their record year, written by Grant Taylor Hill. At first, I kind of scrolled through it, and then one of my audience members just left a comment on the channel saying, "Hey, VG, did you see, what Stellar Blade did in terms of its recent, financials?" And I was like, I wonder what. They said Stellar Blade only made about $43 million after all of their splits from royalties. So Grant Taylor Hill writes, Stellar Blade helped push Shift Up to a record-breaking year in 2024. Now, keep in mind that this is a company that has basically always made another game under its publisher. I think that's a mobile game, Nikkei or something like that. And they said Stellar Blade was released in April 2024, emerging to a solid reception and strong sales on PlayStation 5. It has since remained in the minds of fans worldwide, with Shift Ups plugging away to keep the content stream relatively stoked. From a festive themed update to a near crossover event, Stellar Blade hasn't been forgotten just yet. I'm sure it's been forgotten by a lot of people. If y'all didn't write an article about it, we were looking forward to other games that are coming out pretty soon. And that's just the reality. I mean, I know maybe this person that's writing, you have to think about the reality. Elden Ring Night Reigns network test is coming up. That's looking really, really interesting for a lot of people. There's also maybe some things you might want to, categorize coming from the Xbox side, like Avowed, their South of Midnight game. Yes, these games are much smaller games, not Elden Ring anyways. But again, this is the competition that I've been telling you about. The third-party games that have reach are the ones that are going to pretty much be on the minds of people who are interested in playing them. Then you have Monster Hunter Wilds, also coming very soon as well. So I guarantee you, no one was thinking about Stellar Blade at this moment in time. It's just the reality, but it is what it is. I mean, I can just speak from, my own experience and from the plethora of February releases that are coming pretty soon. In a recent financial update, Shift Up revealed that Stellar Blade was a key component in the company securing record high revenue streams in 2024. The post-apocalyptic action title generated $43.2 million in royalties, and per the financial update, it continues to sell well. But the developers did say that they were hoping that the game would sell more copies on Steam, because the game itself had a lot of potential. And if you consider Black Myth Wukong and how that game actually did perform, I think you have yourself a good comparison to say, okay, even though this game probably would not have sold 20 million units like Black Myth Wukong, or 25 million units, at least PC would have probably graced this game with a good 5 million slow day numbers. Because I gotta say, the game did have that potential, and PlayStation as a platform is not one that you want to bet the farm on. And this is not me trying to be insulting. This is what we're seeing from the data and from the numbers. Ask Final Fantasy 16, right? They got those 3 million units sold very fast, but after that, everybody went back to Call of Duty on PlayStation, because that's what it is. PlayStation is Call of Duty Station, Fortnite Station, and so is Xbox. But I'm just saying, like, reducing your reach in your market because you're taking a publishing deal for a game of such quality is very interesting. Stellar Blade will be expanding from the confines of PlayStation this year, a fresh version of the game landing on PC. Shift Up has already suggested that the game will sell even better on PC. I mean, even they themselves are admitting that the potential was missed here, giving the IP a new lease on life. In the last year, the game has been on the market. It has generated more than 40 million in royalties for Shift Up. At the same time, the company's mainstay, Goddess of Victory, Nikkei, generated around 105.4 million, making around 70% of the students' income. So how are they? Oh, I guess this is just maybe, making it sound good for shareholders, because if you say record, I'm looking and going, bro, you got 43 million after royalties, whereas your bread and butter is doing more than half that, like significantly more than half that. Before Stellar Blade hit the market, ShiftUp started talking about its next project, which was later revealed to be dubbed Project Witches. It's set to emerge in or after 2027, but nothing else is known about the game. In a world being driven by layoffs and studio closures, ShiftUp plans to expand, hiring around 100 people by the end of 2025. The future looks relatively bright for South Korean studio, and I, for one, I'm excited for what comes up. The reality, ladies and gentlemen, is that this particular studio is not in the Western Hemisphere, so cost of development is going to be, significantly different in that regard. But by and large, though, I guess we can still come in with the perspective of saying, okay, good for them. They seem to have come out positive on the books, probably secured, a publishing deal for this game. And as they come on PC, they're going to expand. But again, you got to understand, you're going to sell the game outside of the hype window. And with the other titles that are coming, it's going to be very interesting. You got to also think about the PC player base. This is a very, very different player base from what you see on console, right? There's potential to still buy the game. There's potential to still go ahead and, make significant revenue stream with the game on PC. But you also got to remember that RPGs are the big sellers on PC. And as more RPGs are hitting the PC pipeline, it's going to be slightly challenging for anybody to pretty much go out there and say, okay, this is what it is that we're going to go ahead and, make in this particular regard. Interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, happy for them, but they missed out on so much potential. Because if you kind of go with the paradigm, right? I mean, consider, say, a game like Pearl Abyss's Crimson Desert. Those guys, they have the opportunity, and they said it in there, when they were talking about them, pretty much refusing an exclusivity deal with PlayStation. They understood and said, we had that, the possibility of doing and the experience of doing our own publishing. And I won't be surprised if, ShiftUp basically went ahead and decided that they were going to go ahead and publish themselves in an industry where they have the potential to make a lot of money for themselves, like their other game is doing. Because, I mean, goodness, $43 million after royalties. When Black Myth Wukong basically showed up and was on PC as a hack and slash almost by itself with hype. God of War Ragnarok couldn't even, basically hype a lot of people up. I mean, I'm sure, like I'm saying, it's a different game. But you can already understand and see that there is, in my opinion, some kind of a challenge here in order to say that this game is going to pretty much be able to break records and do all this stuff on PC with all of the other games coming. And this particular market saturation and market pressure is something that developers have to pay very close attention to. Oh yeah. If you don't pay attention to it, you're basically putting yourself in a very weird position at the end of the day. So I look forward to seeing how the game does on PC. There are people who said they're going to buy it, but again, let's see how Elden Ring is going to, I don't know what window they're going to be bringing out the game in, and I hope that they don't pick an Elden Ring window. Because again, people have been talking about GTA 6 and all this stuff, but people don't realize that there's just so many other games that people are going to just play while they're waiting for a PC version of GTA 6. And that's the thing. PC is not the same as console. Well, again, I don't have to sit here and talk about that in this particular video anyways, but it seems some people are not really aware of how the ecosystem works at the end of the day. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon. Peace out.